All right. So now we're recording. Once again, I'm Genevieve with Allied Employer Group. We're talking today about the MPO, our My Paperless Office. Um, and I just want to show you what some of the options that you have for timekeeping, for employee record keeping, and hopefully, eliminate those excessive processes that you have and free your time up for other tasks, because payroll can be very kind of time consuming, and having people clock in and out. And I know that you have some kind of specialty punches that you kind of deal with, right? You have people
Yes.
that do subbing and then after school and before
Yes.
school. Yeah. So keeping track of all that stuff is really kind of can be a lot. So anyway, let's see. Let's start from the beginning. So as an employee, if, with your business, you would clock in. You have the employees clock in and out, and it's very easy. Can you see my hr.coemployer.com website?
Um, let's
Can you
see.
see my
So,
screen?
do you want me to hit share screen or?
No.
Or
It should be sharing. It should be sharing with you. Let's see. Share. Can you see it now?
okay, yes. Now it is. I can now.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
All right. So this is the website. It's hr.coemployer.com, and you'll see our logo, and you have 4 little buttons: employer, employee, supervisor, and time clock. Now you can have employees log on to this with their phone. They can use it on a desktop or a phone or a tablet. All those platforms can use this website because it's HTML, it's web-based, so
Okay.
it's very convenient. You don't necessarily have to use it in any specific place. There's other security measures that we can to make sure that people are clocking in and out once they get to work, or if they're using the Wi-Fi there at the school or whatever. But anyway, so from the beginning, the employee would log in here, and I just have, we'll just use my employee that I use as a demo, and that's Lily Morning. So that's ML. Here she is right there. So they just have a username. Each employee is given a unique identifier, kind of like the time clock that you use right now, where they clock in and out, and then they sign in. The streamline portion of this, and this is the onboarding, but the streamline portion of this is that this system directly talks to our payroll. So there's no download, upload, so that kind of eliminates that excessive time. But this lets the employee, they can see if we're doing your accruals, we can take care of that and monitor if they have time off and stuff. Also their address. This is called the employee portal. And this is where you can kind of see, if they're full-time, their phone number, different benefits that they may be enrolled in, and they can check their different beneficiaries, training classes. You can monitor their training classes here too. It's all information that as an employer you can input, but it really kind of makes it like a one-stop shop instead of having to keep a whole numerous amount of kind of spreadsheets, because as a manager, you want to keep track of that stuff and make sure people get their training done in a timely fashion. So this eliminates you having to do that. This is just a nice database. So,
and so is this is the employee portal, not necessarily the employer portal?
Correct.
Okay.
And I'll show you that employer portal too. But employees can clock in and can log in here and look at their paychecks. So they can pull their paychecks, they can pull their W-2s, stuff like that. So it's just kind of like a one-stop shop. All right, let me go back to hr.coemployer.com. Okay, and then the time clock. So let me log in as Lily Morning. So the time clock. This is really very easy. And like I said, they can clock in and out on their phone. You just clock
Okay.
in here, you clock out, lunch in. And if you have different,
Is there an end thing, or is that going to be the clock out? You know, the current system we have is clock in, and then the clock out is really like a lunch out, and then the end is when you finish your day. So I guess
right,
the lunch in, lunch out is more your break time, and then the clock out is actually your end time.
correct.
Okay. The words are just different. Okay.
Yes, that is correct. And then also we have like if you have different employees that have different positions that they work, like this Lily she can do supervisor time, she can do, engineering time. So if they have different positions that they work in, they can add that time here as well.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, so
And those different positions can be at different pay rates?
correct, yes. So then
Okay.
we will, put those different positions in different pay rates. All right, so that's the employee clock in and out. Let me go back into hr.callemployer. And then once your employee goes in, so we'll log in as a different employee. So say your time period is done, so it's been the month, and they are ready to, you tell everyone, okay, I'm going to run payroll, and say 3 days in advance. You say, please go in and double check your time, because it's kind of a three-step system. The employee approves their time, then that approved time goes to the supervisor. The supervisor says, yes, indeed, you were here and you did this, and blesses it as well. And then
So
the employer
has to approve their time too now, right?
yes. Well, you can skip that step as well. We have some clients, and this is totally customizable. If you want your process to be, I just approve the time, then we can do that as well. It's absolutely up to you. Whatever your process is, we can customize this to whatever you want to do.
I think we just have the supervisor approving it. It's hard enough to get that done and all the corrections made, and I think we just have the the supervisor approve the time, and if there's any questions or anything that looks strange, then they just contact that employee directly.
Okay.
To talk about it. It's probably just a little bit easier process for us.
Right. Okay. And that makes absolute sense. Because the last thing you want to do is like totally change every process all at the same time. So if that,
we don't want to have to wait on one more person.
right.
You know what I mean, to get payroll done sometimes. So I think if the employer handles it, the supervisor handles it, then it would probably streamline things.
Yes, absolutely. And that's a great point, and I agree with you. Yes, absolutely. So if the supervisor just approves it, and that's what this is, so the supervisor would look at this individual's time clock and say, yes, she clocked in here, clocked out, did this, whatever time, then they just, notify payroll, and it goes to the employer. And then the employer would log in here, and you have to put in your company ID.
Okay. The way we do now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then to process payroll. So as you can see, we've only been talking just a few minutes. So if the supervisor goes in, approves the time, double checks everything, sends it to the employer, then the employer goes in here. And as the employer, you can look at the timesheets as well for all your employees.
That's kind of what we do now.
And you can double check that. And you would go in and kind of look at everybody's time, what they've been paid, and you can do a finished summary. The finished summary really shows, it's kind of like Cliff Notes, Says, oh,
Uh-huh.
okay, so this person worked and they worked 8 hours this week or 20 hours, or
Okay.
so it kind of gives you that warm fuzzy.
Uh-huh.
And then when you go to process payroll processing, so it's not a bunch of emails, it's not a bunch of data gathering. All the data has already been gathered in this one-stop shop.
Okay.
So you go in here and you can look at your payroll, and it's 6 steps. You start your payroll here, and it looks like it's thinking. So you start your
And this is
payroll.
only for time clock employees, right?
No, you can do it for employees that are salary as well. Yeah,
Okay.
you can process their stuff this way too, and you can look at their time cards, or if they're salary, you can add them to this, and then you would process the batch. So it just kind of shows you, the employee ID, their hours, how much they've been paid. So that shows you that, and then you hit the next button. You can batch the payroll. And then it'll give you like a synopsis of, um, hours and amounts of money. Um, then you hit next. It's all really very kind of easy to follow. And if you ever have any questions, the good thing is that we're always here to take your call. I mean, we pride ourselves on customer service.
Mm-hmm.
So then you do your payroll summary. That kind of gives you, generally speaking, your hours and overtime and everything that's going to be kind of deducted. And then you go to the verify reports. Now here's all your reports. You can look at your payroll review summary report, the detail report. So this shows you your tax deductions, kind of your invoices, It gives
Okay.
you
Yes.
what your invoices will look like. So that's all those 3 reports. And then you go straight to finalize, and you finalize and close, and then payroll, and then it pushes, we get a notification here, and we send out payroll. We do all our direct deposits. It's
Okay.
really pretty easy. Do you have any questions or?
So whenever I set up a user ID to log in, all of my employees will be here. Everybody that's active will be listed in this system.
Yes.
Okay. And then does it allow me to adjust deductions as well if?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, for example, if you want to edit an employee, so say Johnny Bravo, let's see if this guy will work. Johnny Bravo comes to you and says, hey, I'm not really happy with how much taxes are deducted. You go to edit details, and here are all his details. You can you can adjust his direct deposit, his federal income taxes, everything. If, he's a resident of Oklahoma and he needs to take out state taxes, you can do that here. And everywhere on this screen in the edit details under the employees, everywhere that has the little arrow means it talks directly to our payroll system. And every night, if you change information in the system, every night it syncs with our payroll. So then the next day it should show. And if it doesn't, then you need to call us, and we'll figure out why it's not syncing up. But yeah, and you can put employee notes in here. So say you have a discussion with somebody and you want to annotate, hey, we talked about, whatever, you were late, or whatever minor, things you want to discuss or annotate. Because my memory is perishable, I really like this function because you can keep notes and have kind of like a paperless personnel file, with actions and stuff. So yeah, it's really very easy.
Do you think that, like, we have a couple of people who have child support, and Dee's just been processing that for us,
Right.
and calculating it. Is it already configured to pull the right,
No, that by law, payroll has to process that, because we have
okay, so
specific percentages and stuff. So, yeah, we would still be getting those forms.
you guys would still be getting those forms? Or
Yeah, you would send them to us, or we would get them.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay, just not sure about how that would work.
Yeah.
So let's say we have a new employee. Do I enter in all the employee information again like we used to do, or do I
Yes,
PDF
you
all
can.
the information to you guys? Okay,
Nope, you can. The only thing we will
Okay.
still do for you is the background or MVR or any type of drug screen. I know we don't do that for you, but any type of thing like that. So what you would do is right here, I'm logged in as the employer on hr.coemployer.com, and if you can send the employee a link with this quick employee entry, and they can do all their onboarding, which is paperless for you, and we can, put whatever forms you want in there, the handbook and all that stuff. Or you can just go ahead and add new hire here. I'll show you what
Okay.
that looks like. And you just put in all their specific demographics, their last name, first name, everything with a red asterisk, you would put that.
Okay,
And, their different kind of W-2 stuff. We would have to finish them up in SIMA, but then you would just hire the employee, and it would auto-generate an employee ID. And that's when they would get their specific unique identifier. They would, set a password, so they could clock in and out. So you wouldn't have to wait for anybody else. It would all be taken care of in one place.
okay.
But this
So-
quick employee entry, that's where you would send them a link. Let's thinking with their name, their first and last name, and their email address. Here, first and last name and email, and then you would hire them, send them a welcome letter, and hire them. And then they would create their password, their login, and do all of their forms
Online?
online. Yes, ma'am. And it's easiest to do that on a desktop. My recommendation is to have them do all their onboarding on a desktop computer, not try and do it on their phone.
Okay. I'd love to see what that looked like as a new employee. Is that something y'all could send me, that is like I'm a pretend employee and I could see what it looks like?
Sure,
my end?
sure. Yeah, absolutely.
And then, so if we do the manual entry, then do I upload like their W-4 and their I-9 somewhere within the system?
So when they do all of their, here, let me show you. Let me go back in. hr.coemployer.com. So I'm an employee, and I go in here, and I'll go in as Morning Lily Morning. Okay, so here, this is what it looks like when they get their newcomer, their onboarding email. They say, "Welcome to the team. This is your this is the website you have to go to create your password, and this is what it looks like." So they have to consent. They have to consent to the e-sign, and then they do the next step, and you do your I guess this is the e-sign, so this is consenting, and they have to scroll all the way to the bottom, click I accept, and then they would electronically sign. Usually there's an open field right here where you copy and paste your signature. And of course it's all legit because it has the specific IP address, and that's what's considered your electronic signature. And then here on your general employee information, you fill in your demographics. So the employee is doing that, filling in their demographics, their social security number, all that. And they would save it. and then they would come down here, and here's the field that I was talking about. They would
Okay,
put their electronic signature, and then they hit next.
okay.
And then, okay, yeah, well, it gets upset
It's
if you don't
making you,
sign.
yeah.
Yeah, so then you would go to your tax form and your federal W-4, so that goes automatically. They would fill it out, and it goes automatically, no paper, to our payroll system.
Okay,
Some of our clients choose to have a handbook, so you would put your handbook in here, and they would sign that they've read the handbook or received a copy of it. You have different type of, if there's insurance or any type of forms, additional kind of background check release, all that stuff is just like this, and different kind of hyperlinks, and it's all electronic, and then they electronically sign and just continue to the end of the
their direct
of the
deposit
process.
stuff's in here too?
Yes, direct deposit is in here as well, so they would fill that out and put in the name and the account number, all of that. Mhm.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So,
Mhm.
so if I filled it out and I did it instead of the employee,
Mhm.
then do I fill out the electronic I-9 and W-4, or do I upload their document?
So that you
Or
would,
how,
so if,
is it-
right, so if you were going to do that, fill it out for the employee, then yes, you would have to upload all of that into their kind of employee file, so that you have that
Okay.
paper copy, because you don't want to be signing documents for
Right.
somebody. Legally
Right.
speaking, that would not be okay.
Okay, so it just supports the configuration that we
Yes.
set up for them?
Correct. Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
So then you have all that. So you would go into the file cabinet. So here under the HR Center for the specific employee, you would go into the file cabinet. So it makes them like their personnel file,
Okay,
and you would upload documents. So
okay,
if you had a paper I-9 that you scanned, you would upload it here. If you had any other type of documentation, you would upload it here. And the good part is that we have access to it as well as you have
Right.
access to it.
okay,
So communication is key, and it's seamless. There's no getting around that. So so we would see those documents the same as you, and it would
Okay.
be very easy. Yeah.
And so we have, all of our salaried employees do not clock in and out, and that's okay still, right?
Yes, that would be absolutely fine. So when you do the timesheets, so then you would just add them into your payroll and just push them forward.
Okay. Currently, we don't require substitutes to do the clocking in and clocking out, because our substitutes change all the time, and it's easiest for us to just receive a timesheet for those substitute teachers. And is that still an okay process to?
Yeah, that's
Okay, to receive that
that's
timesheet?
fine. We could do the timesheet, or you as the employer can log in and just add their time. Whatever
Add their
process
time?
works.
Okay.
Whatever process works for you. It's very easy to add time into the system.
Okay, for as hard as it is for even our current time clock employees to always remember clocking in and clocking out and all of that, it would just be a whole nother layer, I think, of headache for us to have our subs have to do it when they only work once or twice a month, or, whatever.
Right.
I mean, it's already where, oh, I forgot to clock out yesterday, can you fit, can you fix that, or can you adjust that, which is fine, we can do it.
Right.
It's just, feel like we're managing our current time clock employees about as good as we can.
Yeah.
At the moment, so.
Yes, it
I don't
is
know.
a challenge. So
Mhm.
anything that we can do to help, eliminate those timely processes,
Yeah.
is is really good. So you can do here
Okay.
specialty punches, missed punches. So you can add punches here, multiple time punches or a group punch. You can put all of your
Okay.
substitutes into like
Right
a
there.
group. Yeah. And
Okay, well, that might be worth it.
yeah. But
Okay.
Do
Okay.
you have any other questions or?
Oh, man, I feel like it's gonna take just like playing around, trying to figure out where everything is and how to do it. And, do you guys want me to start in on this for our February payroll?
You know what? Let me stop the recording right now, and
Okay.
we can discuss that more. So just give me a second.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, I appreciate your time. Thank you.